Modern public policy manages overlapping systemic challenges. Shifting demographics and climate disruption create interconnected networks that spill across traditional boundaries, requiring an integrated response. Traditional linear policymaking relies on a rigid start-to-finish timeline. You implement a plan, wait, and evaluate the results. In an environment defined by highly unpredictable emergent behavior, that linear model breaks completely. To succeed in these domains, government interventions must abandon rigid delivery models. We need continuous, adaptive learning frameworks that adjust as the system responds to the policy itself. We classify problems on a spectrum. Following a recipe is simple. Launching a rocket is complicated. But raising a child or intervening in a national economy is complex. Complex domains are defined by adaptation and feedback loops. The individual components of the system learn, react, and often actively resist change to maintain the status quo. A single input can trigger unpredictable, nonlinear reactions across the entire network. These systems also exhibit path dependency. The precise history of a system and the order of decisions made within it dictate its future development. If you drop the exact same intervention into a different starting point, you generate an entirely different cascading pattern. Because context and history are active variables, a policy that succeeds in one environment will yield completely different outcomes in another. Since outcomes in a complex system are inherently unpredictable, policymakers cannot wait until the end of a multi-year cycle to begin evaluating. This requires adaptive management. Evaluative activities must be integrated directly into the day-to-day implementation of the intervention. We shift from a straight timeline to a continuous cycle of design, implementation, evaluation, and adaptation. Evaluation serves as a tool for constant exploration, generating alternate pathways to test if a different approach produces superior results mid-cycle, rather than merely verifying initial targets. Under this model, initial policy appraisal and ongoing evaluation are no longer separate phases. They merge into a single, continuous process of policy evolution. To execute this, commissioners have to restructure the procurement process. Contracts require flexible governance, iterative scopes of work, and dedicated contingency budgets to handle unforeseen system responses. You must engage key stakeholders early in the system mapping process. Any logic map drawn up at the start must be treated as a working theory to be tested, not an established set of facts. Standard analysis won't map this dynamic environment. We rely on specialized methodological tools, participatory system mapping to capture stakeholder perspectives, computational modeling to track nonlinear effects, and rigorous scenario analysis to stress test alternative futures. In complex policy domains, absolute quantitative certainty is impossible. Success depends on embracing evaluation not as an end-of-project report card, but as a real-time navigational instrument.